Hello, everyone. As you can hear, we don't have sound, so we'll start in a second. Okay. So hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Do you hear it? Do you hear it? It says the AirPods are on. They're not on.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, whether on Zoom or live stream, for the very first Falling Walls Lab Science Abroad. We're very excited to have you here for the first time. The Falling Walls initiative was launched in Berlin in 2009, and since then grown into a global platform, including scientific competitions, conferences, and other collaborative programs. This year's marking 60 years of Israeli-German scientific relations. We have two Falling Walls labs for Israelis, one of the National Academy of Science and one from Science Abroad, and we together aim to send participants to the finals in Berlin in November. Starting the Science Abroad branch of Falling Walls was not easy and was not given, and we are deeply grateful for those who made it possible. Special thanks to the German-Israeli Foundation for Scientific Research and Development, GIF, for their generous support, to Science Abroad's team, Dr. Shira Bar-Or, who is part of the organizing team, Nadav Duani, Dana Berenson, Ben Guy, and others from our team who helped us. And of course, special thanks to our jury of today, Professor Rivka Karmi, the chair of Science Abroad and the chair of our jury, Professor Aaron Chechanover, Nobel laureate and professor in the Technion, Professor Orit Sheffi, Dean of Engineering from Bar Ilan University, Professor Keren Avraham, Dean of Medicine from Tel Aviv University, and Professor Itai Yanai from NYU, but also known for the Night Science podcast and a friend of Science Abroad. Thank you so much for being with us. And now I would like to ask Nadav Duani, the CEO of Science Abroad, to say a few words.
Thank you, Elad. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We at Science Abroad, as you know, a community of 11,000 Israelis in more than 34 countries globally. We're trying to explore our community to more and more opportunities that in them they can create a global community of scientists. That initiative is another initiative from Science Abroad home. In that time, we were part of the Falling Walls Lab, and we are very happy for that. We are very happy that you are taking part of that initiative and that you are here with us. I would like to welcome all of you to join to our global community. You can join us by the Facebook, you can join our LinkedIn page, and you can join our special WhatsApp groups that are specifically to every community and to specific universities, specific cities, and specific field of research. I will add those links during the symposium here on the chat, and we'll be more than happy to welcome you to our community. I would like to special thank you for the organizers, for Dr. Elad Arad, Dr. Shira Bar-Or, and Verena Schenfeld from the GIF, the German-Israeli Foundation, for supporting us. I'm sure that you'll have a great evening and you'll hear a great Israeli researchers with a brilliant presentation that are having here tonight. Thank you so much and enjoying the time.
Thank you, Nadav. I would like to invite Professor Rivka Karmi, the chair of our jury and the chair of Science Abroad, to say a few more words. Professor Rivka Karmi.
Okay, you need to hear and see me as well. So pardon me for the beginning of my talk. Anyway, I said I'm going to be the only one speaking in Hebrew, since I saw the very distinguished list of audience here, and I see that most of them are Israelis. So let me do it in Mamel Ocean. בוקר טוב, צהריים טובים, ערב טוב למתחרות ולמתחרים, לשופטות ולשופטים שלנו ולקהל הנכבד שהחליט להצטרף הערב. אני באמת מאוד מאוד שמחה בשם ארגון ScienceAbroad לפתוח את התחרות הזאת, את הערב באמת הולך להיות ערב נפלא, על המועמד או המועמדת של הארגון לכנס ולתחרות Falling Walls Lab 2025. כמי שהייתה שופטת בתחרות הזאת בשנה שעברה, אני יכולה להעיד מכלי ראשון על החשיבות והאיכות של הכנס ושל התחרות הזו באופן מיוחד. למיטב זיכרוני וידיעתי, פרופסור צ'חנובר היה מראשוני השותפים לו. אני מוכרחה לומר לכם שהחוויה של 3 ימים מעניינים, מלאי השראה, גם מבחינת הידע, גם חדשנות, גם יזמות, הם באמת באמת יוצאים מן הכלל. אני חושבת שהשותפות וההשתתפות של חוקרים וחוקרות ישראלים צעירים באירועים מהסוג הזה, במיוחד בתקופה האחרונה, חשובה ביותר. חשוב למדינה שלנו, שיהיה לנו ייצוג של מדענים ויזמים, בעיקר צעירים, גם מהבחינה המקצועית, אבל בעיקר מהבחינה החברתית והציבורית. יש לנו הרבה מאוד מה להציע מעבר לכותרות הלא מחמיאות שאנחנו מקבלים בשנים האחרונות, ושלא מעט מייצרות עמדות של התנגדות ואפילו יחס עוין. אני רואה באמת חשיבות גדולה בהשתתפות שלנו כאן, וככל שנוכל לשלוח יותר משתתפים, גם מעבר למי שיהיה המועמד או המועמדת שלנו להופעה בתחרות עצמה, כך ייטב. אני לא רוצה לחזור על מה שנאמר שוב קודם לכן, אבל באמת אני רוצה להודות גם לאלעד וגם לשירה על ההתגייסות היוצאת מן הכלל לארגון הערב הזה, בוודאי ובוודאי לעמיתים שלי, השופטים, אני מודה לכם מקרב לב, ולא מובן מאליו ההשתתפות וההיענות הנלהבת שלכם להזמנה שלנו. מקריאה של התקצירים הבאמת קצרצרים שעמדו בפנינו, 15 התקצירים, אני בטוחה שעומד להיות ערב יוצא מן הכלל, מאוד מהנה, and I wish success to whoever is going to win this wonderful evening. And we are going to be very proud in his or her representation, and I'm sure they're going to come back with a lot of good memories and experience in Berlin. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Karmi. Let me now explain the structure of today's event. We have 15 pitch presenters, and the schedule, as you can imagine, is tight. After every presentation, we'll hear after the presentation, we'll hear a short talk by the German-Israeli Foundation, GIF, while the jury deliberates and finalizes the grading. During the pitches, each participant will share his or her screen and deliver the presentation up to 3 minutes, sharp. I want to emphasize this, it will be sharp. After the presentation, the jury will have 2 minutes to grade and ask a few more clarification short questions. The jury will grade the presenters according to novelty, impact, and structure. And of course, in that time, we'll move on to the next presenter. So presenters, please be ready to share your screen when called. You have the list of presenters. And let's begin with our first presenter, Ziv Ben-Zion from Yale University, Breaking the Wall of Stress and Trauma Resilience and Recovery. Ziv, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Just to make sure, do you see my presentation without notes?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. So I'll start. When we think about trauma, we picture long-term dysfunction, PTSD, depression, anxiety. But the data tells us a different story. Over 85% of trauma survivors either maintain high general functioning, recover over time, or even show post-traumatic growth. And yet, science has focused almost exclusively on the minority who breaks down. This is the wall. We still don't understand how resilience and recovery work. We can't predict who adapts or why. And without that knowledge, we miss our greatest opportunity to prevent suffering, to promote strength, and to turn trauma into transformation. My solution is called STRONG, Stress and Trauma Resilience, Opportunities for National Growth. It's the first project in the world to combine large-scale, nationally representative sample with in-depth brain and behavior assessment, modeling how people adapt to trauma across individual, social, and societal levels. We start big. STRONG 1 follows 4,000 trauma-exposed Israelis over 3 years. It's a diverse snapshot of the country across age, gender, ethnicity, and religion, mapping how people recover or struggle and why. Then we zoom in. In STRONG 2, we bring the most resilient and the most vulnerable individuals into the lab. We test how they respond to stress, uncertainty, and reward using real-time behavior, physiology, and eye tracking. Finally, in STRONG 3, we scan their brains. Using structural and functional MRI, we identify the neural signature of resilience. Altogether, STRONG 1, 2, and 3 form one powerful system. With AI, machine learning, and advanced modeling, we can predict who adapts, why, and how we can help others do the same. STRONG turns real-world resilience into science, and science into prevention. Now, some people hear all of that and say, Ziv, sounds great, but isn't this just another research project? But it's not, because STRONG isn't just about collecting and analyzing data. It's about building something new. By uniting public health, psychology, and neuroscience, STRONG creates Israel's first national resilience platform, open to researchers across disciplines and built to inform science, policy, and care. It identifies early modifiable markers like cognitive flexibility and reward sensitivity that can guide targeted intervention before breakdown occurs. And it couldn't be more urgent. Since October 7, Israelis faced ongoing collective trauma on a massive scale. By showing how people bend but don't break, STRONG gives us something science has never delivered before, a scalable, evidence-based roadmap from trauma to strength, not just for Israel, but for any society facing war, terror, or mass adversity. Thank you.
Thank you, Ziv. Jury, now's the time to grade the pitch. And of course, if there are clarification questions, that's the time. Thank you, Ziv. We'll start moving on to the next presenter, Lena Neufeld from MIT, Beyond the Wall, Modeling Intestinal Function and Inflammation ex vivo. Lena, please share your screen.
Hello, everybody. Do you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
We do.
Thank you. So, hello, everybody. My name is Lena Neufeld, and I'm a chemical engineer. I completed my bachelor's and master's degree at the Technion, the Israeli Institute of Technology, and earned my PhD from the Gray Faculty of Medicine at Tel Aviv University. I'm here to present a critical unmet need in the pharmaceutical world. Just a second. Over the past few decades, we've seen remarkable drug development and approval of FDA drugs. But yet, for complex multifactorial diseases such as cancer or chronic inflammation, physicians still struggle to determine which treatment is the right for a specific patient. Today, treatment decisions are often based on general statistics, insurance coverage or cost, and none of it based on the individual biology of the patient. So as a result, nearly 40% of patients receive ineffective treatment. This is not just a waste of time and money, it can cost with the patient lives. In cancer, every month that delays in finding the right treatment can cause tumor involvement and more mutations. in inflammatory diseases, the patient can have irreversible tissue damage that can cause and lead to surgery. So these patients don't have the luxury of time. And this is why I'm suggesting the development of a personalized human-on-a-chip platform. Using a patient-owned biopsy tissue, immune cells, and microbiome, we will recreate their disease in a microfluidic 3D printed system. These chips are engineered with hydrogels that can mimic tissue mechanics and include the vasculature to simulate the drug delivery pathways. This platform could allow us to test therapies in a patient-specific context and predicting the most effective treatment before it's given. By integrating engineering, immunology, and precision medicine, we aim to break the wall in personalized treatment, offering physicians a powerful tool with predicting the right treatment for the right patient and in the right timing. So thank you very much, and I would love to take any questions.
Lena, if I can ask, how accessible will this be, this type of platform?
So I think the accessibility would be through the health insurance and providers. And I haven't done a market research and like a product analysis, but our hope with like preliminary assess would be as a $1,000 per chip or test.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lena. We'll move to the third presenter, Gil Shammai from the Technion, Breaking the Wall of Unnecessary Chemotherapy. Gil, please.
Let me know if you can see my presentation. Can you hear me?
We do.
Okay. Every year, millions of women hear the words, "You have breast cancer," and soon after they are faced with a difficult question, should they go through chemotherapy? Without chemotherapy, for some patients, cancer is at higher risk of spreading to other parts of the body. But on the other hand, chemotherapy is harsh. Beyond its serious discomfort, both physical and psychological, it may cause immune suppression and long-term complications. Now, here is the real issue. Most patients won't actually benefit from chemotherapy, but we can't tell exactly who they are, so we end up giving chemo just in case to many women who don't actually need it, meaning that we expose them to substantial risks without clinical benefit. I'm Dr. Gil Shammai, and together with my team, we built something that could change that. We asked, what if we could find the answer by looking at the shape of the cancer? Every woman already has a biopsy collected when the cancer is first diagnosed. It's a small piece of tissue that captures the shape of the cancer cells and the architecture of the tumor. And over the past years, we found that these patterns contain a world of information that could tell us much more than we once thought. So we developed a test that analyzes these patterns in order to answer the important question, will chemotherapy actually benefit the patient? The test is based on artificial intelligence models trained on images from 180,000 biopsy samples, coupled with computer vision and survival analysis methods we developed in our lab. And over the past year, we've validated this test on one of the largest randomized controlled trials in history, as well as in hospitals across Israel, Australia, and the USA. Now, in these Western countries, today, we already attempt to guide chemotherapy decisions using genomic testing solutions, but these solutions are costly and take time. Our solution is faster and cheaper, helping to use much less resources and to make treatment decisions sooner. And in fact, that's even more important in developing countries because there, such expensive genomic solutions are simply out of reach. So almost every woman ends up getting chemotherapy, whether she truly needs it or not. Our solution is estimated to cut this number in about half and safely estimate most of the overtreatment in these countries. This means sparing unnecessary, dangerous treatments in tens of thousands of women every year. We are now designing clinical trials in two of the largest oncological medical centers in India, in fact, in the world, because we believe, in order to bring this technology to the people who need it the most, because we believe that where you live shouldn't decide your treatment. Thank you very much.
Gil?
Yeah.
My question is whether those pathological images were coupled with clinical information?
Yes, we do couple the biopsy images with basic clinical variables like the grade of the tumor, the receptor status. This is basically the things that influence the most, but most of the information are coming actually from the H&D images, the biopsy images.
But no clinical information on those patients.
What do you mean? Clinical information is the grade, the age, the ER, the receptor status. This is combined with the pathological images to get a better outcome prediction.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Gil. The next presenter is Gilad Rotkop from Bar-Ilan University, breaking the wall of bias in retrospective data. Gilad, please.
Could you see my screen? Could you hear me?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Good evening, good morning, everyone. Retrospective research is indispensable. It is often our only way to study rare diseases, but it faces a critical challenge, temporal bias. As new treatments are introduced, earlier patients have no chance of receiving treatment that would be the standard of care today. Just a second, there is something with the slides are moved, but okay. Those patients might have outcomes that seem worse, but they would have been better if treated. And this difference, which is structural rather than clinical, between earlier and later patients impairs the validity of the analysis. Correction methods exist, but they rely critically on the positivity assumption, the idea that every patient had the possibility of receiving treatment. But this assumption fails whenever treatments were not available for earlier cohorts. And when it fails, those models destabilize and eventually...
Gilad, we can't see the slides moving.
Okay.
Can you scroll the mouse?
Okay, now it works?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, should I continue from
You
here?
can start from the beginning.
Okay, great. Thank you. Retrospective studies are indispensable, especially in cases when prospective trials are infeasible, such as in rare disease study. But they face a critical challenge, temporal bias. As new treatments are introduced, earlier patients had no chance of receiving treatments that would be the standard of care today. Their outcome may seem worse, but it would have been better if treated. And this difference, which is structural rather than clinical, between earlier and later patients of the same study population impairs the validity of retrospective analysis. Correction methods exist, but they rely critically on the positivity assumption, the idea that every patient had a non-zero probability of being treated. But in real-life scenarios, when earlier patients had no access to treatment because it was not available, this assumption is violated, and then those models destabilize and eventually collapse. To address this critical issue, we introduce the value space delta, a novel approach to causal inference under non-positivity. we flip the modeling axis. Instead of modeling treatment assignment over time, we estimate the benefit an untreated eligible patient would have experienced if treated, their delta. And we do this entirely in the value space of outcome. We no longer ask why a treatment was administered or when, and we no longer worry about positivity. Instead, we care deeply about how this lost opportunity shaped the patient's trajectory. To estimate the delta, we train a machine learning model on treated patients and apply it to untreated eligible patients. The delta could then be used in 3 ways to mitigate temporal bias: by directly simulating outcome under treatment, by reweighting earlier patients according to the lost benefit, and by matching patients based on similar potential gain. We applied the delta to a dataset of 616 advanced cancer patients treated over 2 decades in the Sourasky Medical Center in Tel Aviv. Duration of response bias dropped drastically by 99.4%, and the mean absolute error was reduced by 56%. The delta is applicable not only in medicine, it is relevant wherever interventions evolve over time. It restores validity to retrospective analysis and clarity to real-world data. Being a cancer survivor myself, I know how important it is to leverage every bit of data, every trajectory to improve cancer care. And by using the delta, we can make every patient count. Thank you.
Questions? Thank you, Gilat. We'll
Thank
now
you.
move to Elad Schneiderman from the Technion and Bar-Ilan University, breaking the wall of understanding, synchronization of complex human networks. Elad, please.
Hi, hello. You see my presentation?
Yes.
Thank you. Just a second. Okay. Almost every ensemble in nature exhibits synchronized behavior. Bird flocking, fireflies blinking, even inanimate objects tend to synchronize. Synchronization is all around us. It appears from subatomic particles to clusters of galaxies. But what about us? How do humans synchronize? Understanding synchronization in complex human network is vital. It explains epidemic control, traffic flow, stock market dynamic, and much more. Yet we still don't fully grasp how it works in real time. And why? Because most studies have only observed simple group behavior from the outside. They lack the ability to precisely control or monitor what each individual heard, saw, or responds to. And that's the wall I'm breaking. My name is Dr. Elad Schneiderman. I'm a composer and sound artist. Together with the physicist, Professor Moti Friedman, I transform music performance into a real-time scientific experiment to uncover the hidden dynamic of human synchronization. We set 16 violinists in a circle. They cannot hear each other directly. Instead, they are connected through a computer system that transmits sound between them. We control how they are connected using different network structure, and then we dynamically vary the delay in their sonic communication. Meanwhile, each musician repeats the same short melody, attempting to synchronize in an ever-changing sonic environment. What emerged from this new music innovation unveiled the synchronization dynamic of human network. And for the first time, we are able to track individual behavior and a group dynamic. And the findings are extraordinary. Human networks behave differently from any other network we have ever measured. They are capable of reorganizing themselves, changing their internal communication structure to reach a better solution. In other words, we don't just synchronize, we evolve together. Developing this research method further, we now aim to gain a deeper understanding of decision-making, how leaders are informed, and how communities behave during crises. By fusing music with science, we offer not just a new research method, but a new way to understand how we connect, adapt, and create together.
Thank you, Elad. Are there any questions?
Can you tell us where you would apply this? Give us perhaps one example of where you would apply this in a need, whether it's a medical need, a social need.
I think everything you said. Stock market, epidemic control, just like I said, traffic flow, social coordinations, everything
So
that
where would you like to take it if you're going to go to the next step?
I have to say, I'm a musician and an artist. I really like what's happened from it. I really like that I feel the synchronization when I hear it, when I see it. And there are so many directions it can go. I always think how to develop it, and my mind is in the composition. But composition thought, this is what create this innovative music and science approach. This is where my mind is, but I'm working with other scientists, like Moti Friedman, who is coming from physics, but also scientists now in the Technion that they are actually coming from more consciousness.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Can you use it to affect brains?
I think so. I mean, what we are doing now, we are starting to develop a system that reacts. I mean, until now, the system didn't really change. I mean, I can change it in real time, but now we start to create a system that will respond to how people synchronize, and then by that, we can make leaders stronger or weaker. You know, we can change how they are connect. I mean, we can decide what's happened to the group. Is I mean, yes, totally.
Thank you, Elad. We'll
Thank
move
you.
on. It's indeed fascinating. The next presenter is Nathalie Fordian-Melamed from Columbia University, and she'll talk about breaking the wall of invisible forces. Nathalie, please.
Okay, everyone sees here?
Yeah.
Okay, so every second, invisible forces shape life and death decisions you never see coming. In your body right now, cells are pushing and pulling with forces that determine if you stay healthy or develop disease. A cancer cell applies only 100 piconewtons more force than a healthy cell when it begins to invade tissue, but we can't see it. In your phone, your laptop, electric vehicles worldwide, batteries are silently building internal stress. At only a couple of micronewton force, microscopic cracks form. Then thermal runaway begins. By the time we detect it, it's too late. Many systems experience forces spanning 5 orders of magnitude. Yet today's sensors are like binoculars fixed at only one distance. They either see molecules or cells, never both. We are blind to 99% of the forest landscape that controls our health and safety. This isn't just inconvenient, it's catastrophic. We shattered this wall using photon avalanching nanoparticles, nanoscale crystals that take in a tiny change in input and translate it into a drastic change in output. When forces compress these particles, they dramatically change the photon avalanche within. We have created the world's first force sensor with vision from piconewtons all the way to micronewtons, from the extremely weak to over 10,000 times as strong. That's like having a single ruler that can precisely measure both the diameter of a coin and the length of a soccer stadium. This 10,000-fold range in a single 30 nanometer particle surpasses every existing technology. We actually built 3 different sensors, those that get dimmer under force, those that get brighter, and those that change color with force. No wires, no cantilevers, no extensions are needed, just light, and not just any light, but infrared light that penetrates deep into materials and living tissue. No photo bleaching, no blinking, just continuous monitoring. Now we can finally see the full story of force. Watch a cancer cell's first push through tissue, catching invasion at its earliest moment when treatment is still simple. Monitor stress accumulation in batteries continuously, not just at failure, but throughout their lifetime. Predict problems long before catastrophe. Make batteries that tell us when they're struggling. Design robotic grippers and surgical instruments that can sense and adapt tension at ultra-high resolution. Create smart agriculture, smart infrastructure, predicting drought and cracks early on. Forces have controlled our fate while hiding in the shadows. Today, we bring them into the light. We are making the invisible visible across all scales that matter for both life and technology. We are breaking the wall of invisible forces. Thank you.
Natalie,
Ken,
are there any
Yes.
known correlations between those forces and tissues? Can you say can you predict anything from, finding a force or change in force in cancer?
exactly. That's what we are hoping to contribute to. So that, I mean, we always look at, things as chemical processes, electrical processes. Let's say, in cancer, we don't think of it but as a mechanical problem. But everything, if you really think, everything from the, subcellular level to a tissue level relies on forces. So when the tumor environment is stiffer than, a healthy environment. So these little changes in mechanical cues, basically, if we can sense that, we can predict basically the very beginning of cancer invasion, let's say, hopefully.
So at this point, it is a hypothesis, right?
Yes, that's where these sensors can contribute to, of course, yeah.
Natalie, can I follow up?
Yes, sure.
Hey, so with the example of cancer, do you mean that these sensors will be everywhere throughout the body or just in a few places?
That's the beauty here, that these upconverting nanoparticles, they're nanoscale sensors that are made out of ceramic hosts. They're biologically friendly. They can be, they can flow through the body stream, the bloodstream. People have done in vivo measurements in mice, in worms. Actually, there just came out a Nature paper right next with our Nature paper that actually shows that you can do in vivo measurements in worms where they're biting these particles and you see the forces. You see the forces. Well, you see it's optics, right? But it's actually telling you the force. So yes, basically you could also do targeted delivery. You can play around with the ligands around the particles so that they go to a specific area. If you're thinking, okay, maybe we have a more cause for concern in a specific area, we can actually make them go to specific areas. And we can go through the bloodstream as well. So yeah.
Really cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you.
The next presenter is Ariel Cohen from the Academic College of Tel Aviv Yafo, breaking the wall of AI-driven engagement, monitoring, and interactions for educational videos. Ariel, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarel Cohen, Dr. Sarel Cohen from the Academic College of Tel Aviv Yafo, and this is my student, Alona Gatker, and together we break the wall of passive learning in a project we did in the college. So what is the problem that we solve? So as you all know, when we students watch educational videos, also sometimes our focus gets distracted. We sometimes look at the phone or we think, and we realize that many minutes of the video passed by and we don't know where we need to go back. So And here you can see an example of how the engagement of a user, it changes over the time of watching the video. And we come to solve this with active learning. And Alona will now present the solution.
So our solution is using an AI model that we trained ourselves that monitors the students' engagement level. We build a site that when uploading a video, we generate, with using AI, a set of questions that are context aware. And the AI model that monitors the students where they're watching the video, when the engagement level drops, generates a small pop quiz, a question about the last 10 seconds of the material. This way, the students can stop immediately when they lose focus and understand that they lost focus and weren't just drifting. And this it gives them a loop of pausing the video and rewinding exactly to where they lost their attention, making the video not just to check that they saw it, but actually engage with the material and makes their attention better over time. The set of questions that were generated can be later used as a pop quiz to quiz the student about the material later after they watch the video lecture. And we'll also generate a summary with the same method to really help the student get the most out of recorded video lectures. And it also helps the lecturer themselves because the engagement levels of aggregated several users can show the quality of the lecture itself. Where the attention drifts over several users, you can see that this topic may be too complicated or not too well explained.
Yes, I will continue. So besides developing our own innovative AI model, we also have a very complicated system problem here because sending the videos and all the frames, doing the video processing, and then the engagement prediction is very difficult on the server. So we predict key points, and then on the client device, we also use an LSTM with Omnix and only send the synchronization with the server, so we can have a very fast latency, a very low latency and fast response, so we can immediately identify when the student loses focus and plot this quiz. And we break the wall of passive learning. We invite you to use the link below, and we can take any video just right now. You can log in, put any video you want, and it works. We have an online demo, and the students present it in Italy in the AI in Education conference coming soon next month, this month. Yes. Thank you very much. If you have any questions. Okay. Thank you.
You can share the link with via the chat.
Okay, we send it now. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Sarel and Alona. If there are no further questions, we'll move to our next speaker. Shai Avraham Shaked from Ben-Gurion University of the Negev will tell us about breaking the walls of bone repair and crayfish biology.
Hi, so you can see my screen? Great. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I am Shai Shaked. I'm from Ben-Gurion University. I'm a PhD student. Next year, I will move to Hamburg, Germany for a postdoctoral fellowship. I'm very happy to be here tonight or this evening or this morning to talk to you about breaking the wall of bone repair and crayfish biology. And for the next 3 minutes of my talk, I would like you to imagine a world where a simple fall doesn't shatter a life. Bone fractures are a silent, escalating crisis, especially as our population ages. I want you to look at this graph. After 50, the incidence of fractures skyrockets. And after 60, the grim reality sets in. A bone fracture isn't just a break. It can be a death sentence. Current treatments often leave us wanting more. Prolonged recoveries, diminished independence. We face a formidable wall, the need for a truly regenerative, sustainable solution. What if the answer isn't in a sterile lab, but in the vibrant ecosystem of a freshwater stream? We aim to break the wall of bone repair using crayfish. Crayfish hold an extraordinary secret. Their exoskeletons shed naturally. This discarded material is a marvel of natural engineering, rich in polymeric carbohydrate chitin, calcium carbonate minerals, perfectly porous and biodegradable. One can say it's nature's blueprint for bone. This material has the potential to be highly biocompatible, osteoconductive, meaning it guides new bone formation, and even osteoinductive, actively stimulating bone growth. Furthermore, the inherent properties of chitin offer promising antimicrobial effects, a critical advantage in preventing post-operative infections. This is more than a new material, it's a paradigm shift. By creating a bio-inspired template from chitin and minerals, we aim to mimic crayfish exoskeletal scaffolds for bone repair. We are harnessing nature's wisdom to deliver a sustainable, cost-effective, and powerful solution. We are not just aiming to repair bones. We aim to restore lives, giving back mobility and independence. We are breaking the wall, one crayfish exoskeleton at a time. Will you join us in breaking this wall tonight? I would like to thank you for listening.
Hi, so the question about these, sorry,
Oh, you
go
go.
ahead.
You go, Karen. No, you go.
Yeah, so these crayfish, you actually grow them in the lab in order to work on them.
Yeah.
Just clarifying. Okay.
Yes, sure.
Oh, yeah. And then as a follow-up, once you work on the crayfish, what's the model system on the other side?
So right now we're collaborating with a group in Germany, in Dresden, that they are material engineers, and they engineer a chitinous scaffold from scratch that should be incorporated with proteins and minerals to grow mesenchymal stem cells on this scaffold and to see how these cells are differentiated into bone-forming cell and to see whether we can form a bone on a chip, let's say.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shai. I would like to invite our next speaker, Isa Svirinovsky-Arbeli from Columbia University, who will tell us about breaking the wall of battery blindness.
Thank you. 1 second. Wait. I'm so sorry. 1 second.
You can start sharing and then hit the share the presentation.
Yeah. Can you see it right now?
We can see with the thumbnails, but you can hit the button on the right side next to the scroller.
Wait. I really don't know. Just a sec.
Can you share a screen? I will quickly. Yeah, just a sec.
And now?
Just a second.
Now?
Yeah.
Yeah, just.
Now you can see it, right?
Yeah, it's okay. Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Sorry. Sorry. Hi, my name is Asia. I'm a postdoc at Columbia University, and today I'm going to tell you how I'm going to break the wall of the invisible battery field. 350 billion lithium-ion battery cells. That's how many we manufactured over the past decade. But in less than 5 years, to power the global shift to electric vehicle, renewable energy, and the grid, we will need to make the same number every single year. Let that sink in for a moment. To meet that demand, batteries must be stronger, safer, last longer, and more cheaper. But there is one thing still holding us back. Batteries degrade, and eventually they fail. We've all seen that phone you bought just last year, and now you need to recharge it constantly. An electric vehicle that won't start after a cold Berlin night or overheats on a typical Israeli summer. And unfortunately, happening more and more frequently these days, batteries can catch fire or even explode. But what exactly is happening inside? A lithium-ion battery is a complex and reactive systems with electrodes, electrolytes, and interfaces constantly evolving under stress. These changes are microscopic, fast, and uneven. They form fragile layers thinner than my string of hair, nearly impossible to detect with conventional tools. They're essentially invisible. And yet, if we want better batteries, we must learn how to see them and how to see these degradation processes, not after failure, but in real time, while the battery is working. That's exactly what I do. In my lab, I use nuclear magnetic resonance, or NMR, to watch batteries from inside as they operate. Just like MRI tracks hydrogen's atom to reveal diseases, to diagnose diseases, NMR can track lithium ions and reveal chemical signatures at the point of failure. We develop a technique, use a specialized hardware that allow us to cycle a commercial-grade batteries like pouch cells and coin cells inside the NMR magnet in real time. No cutting, no modification, just the real battery operating under real condition. And it works. We were able to see multiple degradation processes in multiple systems. In one experiment, I cycled the battery with materials we use today in our electric vehicles. From the outside, everything looked fine, but the NMR told a different story. We saw an early formation of lithium filaments. This tiny metal strands growing inside the battery. They may bridge the electrodes and short circuit the cell. This is the root of this battery failure. And in extreme cases, it not just not allow your car to recharge again, it will cause fire. But this time we saw it before it happened. That is the powers we're seeing of the invisible. And now we can take it even further. We can take it even further and introduce AI and machine learning. We can build models that can detect early signs of failure, optimize formation protocols, and accelerate the discovery of safer, longer-lasting batteries. We're making the invisible visible, and now we know how to act. By breaking the wall of the invisible failure, we're not just unlocking the next generation of high-performance, safe, and sustainable energy storage. We're fully electrifying the future. Thank you. Happy to take any questions.
What is the limitation of size for this approach?
The limitation of size. So now we are able to limitation of size of the cell. You mean?
Yes.
The limitation of size. So
The
today
object.
we're
Of the object. You can.
The cell itself can be in terms of a couple of centimeters and centimeters. So we did it on fully operating pouch cells and coin cells, and yeah.
Thanks.
So this is something that you would mass produce and something that would be available for everyone?
So I think eventually in our future, we will have, I believe we will have like car shops that we have today that we can bring in and see what happened to our batteries. So we can do it using MRI too, and also NMR. This is why I think like detecting earlier failures inside your batteries will be very powerful. Just in a couple of seconds, you can understand what's happening with my battery, why it's not working, how I can fix it.
Can use my phone as the first prototype.
Yeah, and eventually at the first stages, of course, at leading, the R&D, like we also learn a lot of in the lab how different electrolytes perform, things that before no one can actually detect. And this, accelerates the materials we can use and different combinations.
Thank you, Asia. We will move to our next speaker, Shai Zilbertzweig-Tal from the Broad Institute at MIT, who will tell us about breaking the wall to democratizing mRNA therapy.
We can see your screen.
Great. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. So many great presentations. Oops. Okay. Today I'm going to talk about on-site vaccine production and mRNA democratization. This is actually a project I did in my PhD under Professor Udi Gazit's lab. And I think we are all aware that the COVID-19 pandemic transformed our understanding of mRNA vaccines, but it also exposed a critical challenge. How do we get these fragile, life-saving medicines to everyone who needs them, even in places without advanced infrastructures? And I think we all remember all the discussions about the -80 freezers and so on, and it became quickly evident that shipping and storage are global obstacles. And I think we all know that mRNA and RNA in general is unstable and rapidly degraded, but the pandemic made it clear how much this instability limited the access and the availability of this medicine in regions that are lacking cold chains and centralized manufacturing. And this challenge drove a lot of research to improve the stability of mRNA and its delivery system. But even with more stable formulations, another barrier remains, which is the manufacturing process is still centralized. And it relies on a few factories, which make it difficult to respond quickly to pandemics, possibly in the future, but also to provide treatments that needed to be tailored for individual patients. And in fact, we have more than 250 mRNA-based therapies now in clinical trials, which don't necessarily need a whole factory to produce the mRNA. So to truly democratize mRNA medicines, we need to bring the manufacturing closer to the patients. And this is where our solution comes in. And I don't know if you can see, but what I'm holding in my hand is part of the solution. This is a microfluidic chip, and our vision is that it will work like an espresso machine for mRNA, where you can simply load your DNA onto this chip, and this DNA can encode whatever mRNA sequence you want. And the machine will synthesize the mRNA, will clean it from the enzymes, from the DNA, and will encapsulate it in the lipid nanoparticle on site. And to prove this concept, we synthesized mRNA from various DNA templates, and we also did in vivo study in mice where we showed that these lipid nanoparticles with encapsulated mRNA is active in mice and can even generate an immune response when they are vaccinated against SARS-CoV-2. So basically what I'm trying to say is that we want to imagine a world where mRNA vaccines and personalized therapies can be manufactured locally, anywhere, from the heart of a major city and to the most remote clinic. And by breaking down the barriers of centralized manufacturing, we can help make these advanced medicines accessible when and where they are needed the most. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm happy to take any question.
Shai, are there temperature requirements for the other reagents, like the buffers or anything else?
Yeah, there are temperature requirements for the mRNA synthesis. We used everything that is used in commercial IVT, so we can compare it side by side. So this is -20 and not -80. And as well as for the formulation of the lipid nanoparticles. So everything was stored in -20. And we are now working to get funding for a prototype. So hopefully we will have everything in an espresso machine. And then you just have to refill as needed, or if you need to tweak the formulation.
Hi.
Thank you.
Yes.
Is there another group working on something similar, point of care kind of production, precision medicine?
Yeah.
Or is it your group?
I don't have a group yet, but
I mean the group you are in.
Yeah, so there are deployable devices aiming to reach this vision, but their starting input is not DNA. So our innovation here is that we can start from DNA, and you can imagine even further that maybe we can even synthesize the DNA needed, right? So someone will just send the sequence and everything will be at the same spot. There is a group actually from Germany that is working on mRNA purification on site, but nobody starts from the DNA input.
Thank you.
As far as I
How
know.
can you validate the result if it's do you have any validation part there?
So we don't have it within the prototype of the microfluidic, but we are teaming up with John Cook at Houston to do QA on the mRNA while it's synthesized, and we have characterized the lipid nanoparticles after they were produced in terms of the size and the zeta potential, and we also show that if indeed it will need to be cryopreserved, you can cryopreserve them and then thaw them and still use them. So we don't have the QC within the prototype, but we are working on generating that data so it can actually go through regulation.
Hi, I have a question. Beyond the production, which looks easy, there is the issue of quality control. And beyond the quality control, there is the issue of clinical trials. So, let's say that a batch that is made in Haifa, how you compare it to a batch that's made in Tel Aviv, and as far as clinical trials are going, quality control and so on.
Yeah, that's a great question. So this is exactly why we're now applying for funding, and we are teaming up with a group in Houston. I'm not sure we can say that whatever is being manufactured in Tel Aviv is the same as it being manufactured in, I don't know, Boston. But the goal is that for at least personalized medicine, for a cancer vaccine, there will be like a home or like a hub, a hospital that will be in charge of the QC, and there will be like the clinics and the hospitals around it. And so there will be one facility in order to manage that. So the low-hanging fruit is cancer vaccines, but I hope maybe one day we can ensure the batch-to-batch quality.
Thank you, Shai. I will invite our next speaker, Shalev Weisbach from Bar-Ilan University, to talk about breaking the wall of expensive truth.
We can see your screen.
You can see the screen, 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to start with a quick video of me that I filmed 2 days ago. In these days, it costs more to verify a fact than to fabricate a flawless fake. When Sam Altman said, compute will become the most valuable commodity in the world, do you think he also meant the party with the largest compute budget could bend any election? In that world, truth becomes the rarest commodity of all. So that wasn't me. It was 100% AI. If 20 seconds of video can fool you, imagine an hour-long video deposition. Welcome to an age where lies are cheap and truth is expensive. 9 out of 10 civil disputes never reach a courtroom. They settle behind the closed doors, boardrooms, HR offices, or Zoom calls. Their credibility is a staring contents. Who blinks, who sweats, whose story feels right. But intuition is an antique tool. Meanwhile, AI can spin convincing fables rapidly. Verifying the truth still comes at a steep cost, and that very disparity will stall our productivity, corrode our trust in society. So I asked a simple question. What if honesty were cheaper than the lie? Now picture this. In these days it costs... Picture this. One ordinary smartphone on the table. Its built-in camera and microphone utilizing AI technology detect lies in true times. Each sentence light up, green for confidence, amber for caution, red for dig deeper. No wires, no examiners, a pocket-sized successor to the polygraph at a less than 10th of the cost. So why now? because cheaper lies, already flooding every negotiation, and the only way to restore trust is to give every mediator, every HR officer, a simple indicator for quicker, better decisions. No expert needed, faster settlements, and ethics baked in. Data stays in phone, models are open to audit. When everybody in the rooms knows their lies are about to be told, both sides speak straight. When deceptions feels risky and truth feels effortless, conflict shrinks, trust compounds, and justice become a daily habit. Let's make truth accessible again. Questions? I don't see anything in the slide. Okay, now.
Do you actually need to take a photo of the person? I mean, either the victim, either the lawyer or whoever? Do you have to take photos?
Well, yes, there is a lot of methods now in the market that you can utilize into detection with sensors that everybody have on their phone. The problem itself that is how you utilize it and what are the uses of the technology.
Can we ask questions? I mean, just from the audience?
Unfortunately, we can't.
Do we have more questions from the juries, from the reviewers?
I have one quick question. So how will you benchmark the truth detection?
You don't have to be 100% accurate, only from sentences. As I said, you flag suspicious sentences, you see where the other side feel emotions. You only need to be way better detective that the other side could communicate with you in better way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Ophir Joseph from University of Haifa, who will tell us about breaking the wall of quantum safe infrastructure management.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Can you see the slide?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll get right to it. The quantum computing threat is looming just around the corner. It exposes traditional cryptographic protocols to new challenges, which may render them not viable anymore. These are protecting the digital infrastructure we are using today, from banks to critical infrastructures. 2030 is a consensus year in which most organizations and regulatory bodies believe that the threat will increase to the maximal potential on legacy systems. Quantum key distribution and post-quantum cryptography methods are techniques which use advanced mathematics and elements from quantum mechanics to mitigate this threat. They are hard to implement, and making sub-protocols, which today are a niche skill, such as authentication and key distribution, move to a more prominent space in the core skills required for the security team and the NOC operators. These implementations are not just an engineering task, but require advanced cybersecurity research and standard amendments, and develop of new tools which have yet to emerge and require research which is yet to be implemented in academic literature. We are suggesting to break the wall of quantum safe security in terms of adaptation and effective monitoring by introducing a novel tool which will use AI, advanced visibility methods for infrastructures, and novel metric analysis to create 4 key features: visibility where it lacks, detailed statistics to new data which emerges from new technologies to mitigate this post-quantum threat, and compliance to advanced standards, which changes a lot. We are also trying to implement an LLM-based log analysis, which makes this whole world of new concepts and trends to something much more easier to understand and implement across different organizations and legacy systems. quantum readiness is no longer optional. It has moved from the academic field into the practical field. And organizations are now trying to find out how to implement these methods before the threat becomes too large to handle. The difficulties they are experiencing right now are originating in a way to implement them in a simple and effective way, and to comply with new defense mechanisms which emerge every day. The massive funding influx into this field creates an opportunity not only to create such a tool, but to gain national leadership in quantum safe technologies and create a national tool for managing these looming threats.
Thank you, Ophir. I want to invite our next speaker, Perry Gonin, to talk about breaking the walls of FDI and SciCap in startups.
Can you see my slide? And can you hear me?
Yeah.
Right. A quick show of hands. How many of you have had at least one eureka moment? That big idea you were sure you could change everything. Now, let's be honest. If you had acted on it, you would probably be counting your millions in Hawaii and not sitting here listening to me. We've all had that chance to become a hero. But what stopped us? What if the true driver of innovation isn't just opportunity, but the mindset behind it? Oh, the slide doesn't work. 1 minute.
Try hitting the down arrow key or
Okay,
the mouse. It's
we're
okay.
okay now.
Yeah.
FDI doesn't just follow opportunity, it follows hope, efficacy, resilience, and optimism embedded in the minds of innovators. These are not merely poetic notions, they are measurable components of what we refer to as psychological capital, or SciCap, a construct comprising of hope, efficacy, resilience, and optimism. In short, HERO. Traditionally, foreign direct investment has been analyzed through a macroeconomic lenses, namely market potential, political stability, regulatory environments. But what if we've been overlooking a key driver hidden at the micro level? This study explores an interdisciplinary approach that effectively ties FDI inflows into the country to the psychology of founders across Israel, the UK, Germany, and Sweden. The findings reveal that founders consistently possess higher psychological capital than the general populace, demonstrating a compelling link between individual strengths and driving economic growth. Analysis of longitudinal data from Israel, where the number of innovative startups rose from 19 in 1990 to 649 in 2019, alongside an increase in FDI from 151 million to $17.3 billion. Extending this analysis using advanced econometric methods across 8 additional economies confirms the same, that startup growth drives long-term FDI, not the other way around. So we're asking the wrong question. It's not just where capital flow, but why. And the answer might lie in the psychology of the people driving innovation. The next great economic strategy might not be in policy, but in psychological capital. In short, this work urges a paradigm shift from viewing innovation policy and FDI attraction as matters of national strategy alone, to recognize them as outcomes deeply influenced by the psychological capital of a country's entrepreneurial base. This shift is not just beneficial, but necessary for our economic future. In conclusion, fostering SciCap among potential founders should be seen as a vital strategic economic decision for any nation. Any questions? Thank you.
Do you see the psychological mindset as something that's nurtured or is from nature?
Normally, everybody is born with the four aspects of psychological capital: the hope, the hero, hope, efficacy, resilience, and optimism. But what we found, as I said, that those who go into startups have a higher PsyCap than the normal population. We did 15,000 questionnaires in Israel, Germany, Sweden, UK, and the world. And this is the outcome. So, but what you can do is you can increase these four systems. And by training and development, mentoring and coaching, goal setting and achievement, there's a whole system that you can develop people to a certain extent, increasing that, and then they will go further as entrepreneurs in innovative startups. Because we all have ideas, but sometimes we just don't use it. I'm sure every one of us have that.
Thank you, Perry.
Thank you.
I want to invite our next speaker, Avital Datan from Bar-Ilan University, to tell us about breaking the wall of monolingual thinking.
We can see your screen.
You're muted, Avital.
Okay. Okay. I'm Avital, I'm a computer scientist. What if I told you that the language we speak to the LLMs makes a huge difference? In our experiment, we didn't just analyze a data set, we asked it to speak. We gave smart farming data to language models and asked them to assign agency and role. In English, the agents behaved like regulators and risk managers. They debated and fighted and defended efficiencies and asked, does this rule make any sense? And can we justify the input? But in Basque, the agents behaved like neighbors and stewards. They remembered the rainfall, resisted top-down thresholds, and invoked communal rhythms. They asked, whose land is this? And what do we owe each other? Same LLMs, same architecture, different languages, different ways of defining rules and imagining institution. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. We call these synthetic dreamscapes, a proposal to study AI through deep linguistic and dream logic using computation and LLMs as stage and theater for linguistic alignment and deliberative roleplay. The reason we use dreaming as metaphor and prompts is because we want to capture the sub-symbolic strangeness of neural networks. Like human dreams, the LLMs generate distortions, juxtapositions, and symbolic and emergent truths that can't be reduced to logic alone. We turn the simulation into a performative site for democratic reflection. We don't test policies, we stage their implications. We don't predict behaviors, we rehearse plural futures. It's not just a multilingual NLP analysis, it is a method for surfacing how language carries values, governance, dreaming and imagining different futures, and how AI can help us listen to what is already embedded in the data, in the land, in the tradition. We don't just test AI language outputs, we simulate what kinds of agents AI becomes when we speak to it in different grammatical words, and how through AI we encode the power, the ethics, and institutional possibilities. We are not just translating prompts, we are exposing how language mediated by AI enacts, reconfigures, and make visible what governance can be. And this is how we break the wall of monolingual AI, by inviting new voices, new grammars, and new agents to imagine otherwise. Thank you. And by the way, we are international team. Professor Denis Sakera and myself from Bar-Ilan University, Dr. Ernest from Slovenia, and Dr. Lubisha from Belgrade.
Thank you, Avital. We will move to our final speaker, Nadav Voloch from IMT School of Advanced Studies at Lucca, Italy, who will tell us about breaking the wall of post-quantum cybersecurity.
Sure. Can I share my screen?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can see it.
Yes, just switch to full screen.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the subject that was already talked about in this session by Ophir, and it's post-quantum cybersecurity, but I'm going to look at it from a little bit of a different perspective, and I'm going to explain the threat a little bit more, not to depth, but simply. So the current problem that cybersecurity, like we can say field handles, is quantum computers. Everybody's investing and building quantum computers, but the inherited problem that comes with quantum computers is the fact that they can compute large, very, very large numbers very, very fast. So it means that every building block of current cryptography methods that is built on computational hardness, like RSA, like Diffie-Hellman, like everything, is breakable, vulnerable and breakable. Because instead of computing it for years, it can do it in several minutes. And Ophir mentioned before that the deadline is 2030, like in 5 years from now, which is pretty close in terms of cybersecurity because of the problem that is seen here. As you can see, the harvest now, decrypt later problem. Meaning, if I'm an attacker from China, let's say, and I want to hack the Pentagon, I can take all of the encrypted data, which is actually gibberish and I can't understand anything, and just keep it and wait till the time of quantum supremacy and then decrypt it. So I'll have all of the confidential data, meaning that the time for handling this problem in actual life is now, not in 5 years. So this is the problem that we're tackling. And our solution at SciQ is we specialize in actually implementing all of the current cybersecurity products, but to be quantum safe. So the actual problem that is relevant for 2025 is making hybrid products. And by hybrid, I mean that will be suitable also for current encryption schemes like TLS, like everything, and also quantum safe. This is a huge technical challenge. That's what we're currently working in development. And we do it by the NIST standards that Ophir also mentioned that were approved just less than a year ago in August 2024, which is FIPS 203, 204, and it's still being updated. So we work with the actual NIST standards and want to implement a certificate. We implement a browser and all of the products that people currently use in financial systems, in communication, in everything. That's what we are implementing. We're currently in the stages of raising seed. We applied for the Israeli Innovation Authority and also applying in October with a cooperation of Luxembourg University to the European Commission for a PQC grant. And you can check our website for all of the products that we're developing. And I think my 3 minutes are up. Okay. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Nadav. And thank you to all the fascinating speakers and the wonderful talks that we've just heard. Before we turn to listen to hear about the winners, I want to invite Verena Schifferman, the director of the GIF, the German-Israeli Foundation for Scientific Research and Development, to say a few words. I will just say that the GIF supports us at Science Abroad in bringing this idea to life and to bringing Israelis and Germans together to the Falling Walls, and we really appreciate it and are thankful for that. So Verena, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Shira, and thank you very much, everybody, all those speakers that are here with us today for your inspiring talks. We at GIF are very happy and very proud to be part of this exchange, and I would like to take the opportunity in the next few minutes to show you a bit about GIF. What is GIF at all? What is our institution, our foundation? What programs do we offer, and how do we contribute to the exchange between Germany and Israel when it comes to science? So I'm going to share my screen with you now. And I hope that it works just like with everyone before. I think you see it now. All right. So as I said before, I'm going to use this time now, the next few minutes, where the jury is making their decisions, to tell you a bit about our organization. And we're going to start, first of all, with a short overview. What is GIF? Then I'll present our programs to you, first focusing on the Young Scientists meetings that might be of specific relevance to you at the moment. Then I'm going to talk about GIF's Nexus program, our flagship program at the moment. How does the application process work? What is important to know? How do our calls for proposals look? What is required for a proposal? And then some useful tips that we discovered in the last few application cycles might be useful for applicants. So GIF, the German-Israeli Foundation for Scientific Research and Development, was founded in 1986, almost 40 years ago. Next year, we're going to celebrate our big anniversary. It was founded together by Germany and Israel to enhance scientific collaboration. And as such, it's a pretty unique entity. It is a body that belongs to both countries equally. And I'm not aware of any other such entity existing between, that either.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to switch to full screen mode.
It's not full screen yet?
No, I can see the thumbnails on the left. You should press.
So that's not what it is supposed to look like. Wait, I can try it myself.
Yeah.
If I still have control, yes. All right, you should see it better now, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, wonderful. So it's a pretty unique organization because it belongs to both countries equally. And as I wanted to say before, I cannot think of any other organization that Israel or Germany owns that is really divided equally between two countries. It was established as a legal entity by the Knesset and the German Bundestag, and together with this comes the equal responsibility both in governance as well as in funding between both countries. Our board of governors are, as you can imagine, then also composed by German and Israeli scientists, both from the STEM as well as social sciences and humanities, and it's co-chaired by the ministries of science of both countries. Over those last 40 years, we had over 2,000 grants awarded with a total amount of more than 275 million euros. And that includes more than 4,000 scientists. And when you look at we call it the Wall of Fame, you can see really impressive names: Nobel laureates, Leibniz Prize winners, Israel Prize winners, Wolf Prize winners, as well as several other thousand that contributed over the years. So when we look at the GIF Young Scientists meetings, the first program I'm going to present to you today, this is a platform for young scientists, early career scientists from both countries, in order to network, to explore funding opportunities, and of course to engage with established researchers. This program is currently totally open, meaning we have no restriction on fields of research. We have no deadline, so whoever wants to apply at the moment is more than welcome to do so. The duration of such a meeting is usually 2 to 3 days. with a maximum of 20 participants. Of course, we try to have it equally balanced with the equal amounts of Israelis and Germans participating. Each participant must actively participate, must give a talk, a presentation, and of course, it's mandatory to be present during the whole GISM. If you're interested in that program, first of all, you can visit our website. I'm going to send my presentation, or I have it sent to you afterwards, so you can either go directly to the links in the presentation or write to me directly. It's on our website, and we're very happy to receive as many applications as possible. This program might undergo a few changes in the future, but this is what we have at the moment, and those are the conditions we're accepting applications at the moment for. The Nexus program is our big program. It's divided into two tracks. We have a collaborative track on the one hand and a solo track on the other hand. The collaborative track has to have at least one PI from Germany and Israel, with a project duration of 2 years. The maximum budget per year is 150,000 euros for all PIs. On the other hand, we have the solo track program, which is for PIs up to 8 years after their doctoral degree, with a duration of 1 year and a maximum budget of 25,000 euros. And both programs, or both tracks of the same, it's one program, have focal topics that are published with a calls for proposals once a year. Last year, for example, meaning the applications that are currently under review and were published and dealt with, for example, the future of democracies and social inequities on the social sciences, humanities side, and in STEM, it's quantum computing. So every year, a new focal topic for both areas is chosen. So when applying or before applying, I'm going to open all important aspects for you already. So applicants in both tracks must have a doctoral degree and a confirmed position at a research institution that is GIF eligible. Those ones that are GIF eligible can be found on our website. And what is important, the affiliation with a research institution has to be for the full duration of the planned project. That's a precondition. Salaries of PIs or CIs cannot be covered from the grant. However, researchers can be employed on the project, and therefore the PIs may request salaries, of course. When it comes to the terms German and Israeli, researchers here are not defined by nationality, but rather by their institutional affiliation. So whoever is affiliated with an Israeli institution is considered an Israeli in our grant world, whereas the same, of course, is relevant for somebody who's at a German university or a German research institution. He or she is considered a German for us. Each applicant can only apply in one per cycle in one project, meaning you can't be a PI in several proposals, which should be actually something that should be taken for granted. And those researchers who contribute scientifically to a project but without budget can be included as cooperating investigators. So how does an application process work? What does a GIF application process look like? We start with a pre-proposal, which is mandatory in both tracks of the Nexus program, meaning on the collaborative track as well as in the solo track. If an invitation to submit a full proposal is given, then it will later on in the next stage go to the full proposal, but before it will be reviewed by our advisory panels, and once the full proposal is approved for submission, it goes through our website. And we currently have a cycle running. I can show you the timeline for that. This timeline, I have to say, is not fully representative because we had some personnel changes both at GIF as well as the war made some delays in our process. So this year in March, we had the deadline for the submission of pre-proposals. In the end of July, we'll send out the notification on full proposal eligibility, and that gives the applicants another, August, 2 months for submitting the full proposal. In February 26, new grants will be, the new grantees will be notified, and April 1st in 2026 are the expected starting dates of our new grants. Said before already, we have always the focal topics in STEM and social sciences and humanities. And what you need to hand in here, we already get into a very technical level. Though I just want to briefly go over it. You'll find, of course, the details on the website, as well as my colleagues and me are always there to help and to advise. We have to have, or there is a cover page necessary, the proposal abstract, the biographies, short biographies of the PIs, a list of publications relevant for the pre-proposal, a short project description, and a budget overview. So this is just very briefly what you need to hand in. And some more relevant information. So both proposal title and names of PIs cannot be changed once the pre-proposal is accepted. The abstract, however, can be adjusted when submitting the full proposal. There are pretty strict rules when it comes to page limitations, including figures and references, as well as the wish to not include full publications in the pre-proposal, only the most relevant ones, and in case you have already collaborated with your partner and have joint publications. So please add those as well. The rest, again, is on our website, where you can find all relevant information. Or, of course, you can contact the team. You see our email addresses, our phone numbers here, and we're very happy to help, to give information and to receive your applications in the next cycle. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Verena. I have a short question. Do you have funding opportunities or projects for researchers in their more earlier stages, like PhD students, postdocs, student exchanges for longer periods, things like that?
Let's say we really want to have. We're currently in the process of reviewing a few processes, also with respect to, young researchers in both our countries, Germany and Israel, to bring them together, especially with the current developments. We see it as a very important part for our work to support young scientists in those, even earlier career stages. So I would say stay tuned. We'll soon have a newsletter as well, so we'll update on relevant developments, and I really hope I can give a positive answer soon on those topics.
Fantastic. Does anybody else have more questions to Verena? Take up this opportunity about the GIF? Do you want to say a few words about your involvement in the Falling Walls upcoming conference?
Yes. So first of all, we're here collaborating with ScienceAbroad, which is a very wonderful opportunity for us. We'll be able to sponsor several of the first placed scientists that will be chosen today. And on another level, we're going to have a full day with the Israeli Academy and the German Berlin-Brandenburg Academy on the future of AI, both on STEM-related questions as well as humanities, social sciences. We don't have the full program yet, but it's going to be a whole day of talks, of presentations. So this is something that we're also very much looking forward to when it comes to the Falling Walls labs, and also the Falling Walls and Berlin Science Week event in general. It's a whole week of events, and there's a lot of very interesting things happening for those of you that will be able to travel. I think it's a wonderful opportunity.
Right. Yeah, I have to agree, being in Berlin. For those of you who are not, we didn't say a lot about Falling Walls, but this year specifically, we're celebrating 60 years for the relationship between Germany and Israel, and there are going to be a lot of events taking place. So not only the Falling Walls, like the major competition, but also, side events, and we're together with you are going to have some events that will hopefully be able to bring together German scientists and Israeli scientists to network and to get to know the work and the people. So I'm really grateful for that. So if you haven't bought your ticket yet for Falling Walls, even if you're just listening right now and not being in the competition, we highly recommend trying to get there and come. Yeah, so thank you very much. Nadav?
We will send more information on the Falling Walls Summit in the next few days. And we're trying to work with the JIF and with the Israeli embassy to find a way to send more Israelis to that competition. We think it's a great opportunity. I'm sorry for the noise here again. We think it's a great opportunity for everyone to participate. And we see in those days that Germany is, I think, one of the best friends of Israel in Europe, of course, but globally as well. And we encourage more and more Israelis to find a way to make researches with German institutions, with German researchers. We think it's a great opportunity and a great way to have a very good research and publication in the future. And by the way, our mission in ScienceAbroad is to find a way to bring back Israelis to Israel. And we think it's much easier to bring you from 5 hours flight than 12 hours flight. So we encourage you to do this, and we are here to assist and help you. If there is, by the way, if you have any other questions to us at ScienceAbroad, to Verena, it will be great. And if not, we'll wait, I think, a minute or two to Elad and Professor Karmi to announce the winner, because it's very tight. Yeah, you're here? Ziv, you're here.
I have a question to Verena.
Yes, please.
So first of all, thank you for the great collaboration opportunities. I wanted to ask regarding the meeting you mentioned. Let's say I want to organize a meeting. So do I just need to find a German collaborator, decide on the meeting topic, and then kind of send the invitation to everyone, or should I come with a list of participants? How does it work?
So you would, excuse me, so you would first of all send a short proposal to us, which is not in any way formalized. It would just be, brief abstract. Then, after the decision by our board is made on which of the JISMs to fund, then you would, send out a call for, in an ideal case it could also be several universities or research institutions involved, by the way. It doesn't have to be only two. So you could have participants from, let's say, several places. And, then the rest is organized internally with us, when it comes to booking flights, hotels, location, etc. So it's I would say it's pretty easy, and doesn't, also it can be organized. I wouldn't say really rather spontaneous, but it doesn't, it doesn't require a lot of preparation, as in you would have to wait months for an answer, let's say. Even though we're only at the moment accepting for 2026, because 2025 we had so many that we're already in the next year with planning.
Thank you.
Thank you, Verena. We will wait a minute or two for our jury to return with their decision.
So if I may, and mention some things about ScienceAbroad. Nice to meet you, everyone. My name is Dana Berenson, and I am the Director of Industry Sector and Partnerships. And part of my job, we opened a campus, which is an online learning courses for scientists that are in Israel and around the world. And one of the main and best courses that we have now that is going on is a course about AI tools for scientists. So right now we are in the middle of the third cohort, and we have one more in October. So if someone is interested to hear more about that, I'll be more than happy to share with you the link for the information that we have on our website. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana.
I just want to say that we are waiting for our judges to finish their work. So this is why there is a little bit of a wait here. So we want them to do the right job and the best results. So thank you for waiting, and I'm sure they will be here very shortly.
And they are joining us right now.
Great.
Okay, I'm going to close the breakout rooms. It will take 50 seconds.
Okay, so I want to welcome back our jury from their decisions, and I want to invite Professor Rivka Karmi to announce the winners.
You're on mute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Elad, I delegate it to you. Please give us the names and the numbers of the three leading candidates from 1 to 3.
I'll do the opposite. From the third place goes to Elad Schneiderman. The second place goes to Shai Zilbersai Tal. And the first place goes to Nathalie Fardian Melamed.
Bravo.
Congratulations.
But I
Bravo.
want to say you
Congratulations.
all did a terrific job. Very impressed with your ideas, where you want to take things. So more of you will have the opportunity, and please move forward with all of your ideas. And not everybody has to win. Unfortunately, there's always a limit, but keep taking, because you could see the passion and the conviction in what you all presented.
Well, thank you very much, Karen, for conveying all our, what we think about these wonderful, great presentations. Just to give some technical information. So the first one is going to be our representative to the competition. The number 2 and 3 are going to be supported for this trip to attend the conference, 3 days in Berlin. And from numbers 4 and 10, that will be actually arranged according to the grades that the jury has given them, the weighted grades. We are looking for resources to support their trips to Germany. Hopefully, we'll get money for most of them, if not all of them. So again, thank you very much. And is there anybody else? Nadav, you want to conclude? Say some words about this wonderful event?
Who can I say
Orit
something?
wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say, first of all, it was beautiful and stimulating, and I want to encourage you all, come back to Israel. Open your labs here.
Absolutely.
I think Rivka Orit said it perfectly. We're waiting for all of you here in Israel to see you here. Open labs. It doesn't matter where. In all university, of course, Orit will call you to Bar Ilan, and Karen will to Tel Aviv, and Professor Chechanover to the Technion.
Sure.
I know, but again, whatever you prefer, come to Israel. We need you here. You're doing a great job, but in Israel will be great, amazing influence about Israeli Academy. And thank you so much for everyone.
Can I also say one more thing? I think, I want to second what everybody has said. I come away from this really inspired. I think, what we're doing here is not exactly science, as Rivka has instructed us. This is a competition. And of course, science is not really a competition unless we think about it internally. I think we each have our idea. You each have your big idea. And as Perry said, we should go for our big ideas, adopt the mindset that achieves your dream, and then we'll take it from there.
And you have a few more customers for your science night.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
So the
Absolutely.
final tip that I'm going to give to our representative, but actually to all of them, is really work hard on the way you are presenting your idea. Although we gave it a very limited kind of the grade was the lowest grade was for the performance, but you are marketing your ideas, your science, and just recently I read an article, I don't remember whether he was one of the leading papers in science, how even now we have to market our science. It's not enough to give all the details, the scientific details, but be able to really communicate them in a very passionate, wonderful way. So thanks so much. And as we say, come back to Israel. We need you. And we want you to go to do the best in Berlin. Thank you. Good night.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
תודה. היה מעניין, תודה שהזמנתם אותי.